Pay attention because it's here. What's coming isn't just another phase of the moon. It's a frequency spike, a cosmic interruption, a soul checkpoint. And if you're not paying attention, if you scroll past this like it's just another video, you'll miss something you might not get back. The window is already opening, the current is already shifting, and this strawberry full moon in Sagittarius, it's not here to gently whisper, it's here to shake the truth out of you. Some people will feel this and think they're falling apart. The emotions, the random memories, the sudden confusion. But the wise ones, the ones who understand energy, will know. This is the very moment everything begins to shift. Because the truth is, this moon is not just lighting up the sky, it's lighting up you. And if you've been feeling the pressure lately, the strange highs and lows, the emotional flashbacks you didn't ask for, it's not a glitch in your system, it's a cosmic signal. It's your internal radar picking up on something big. There's a reason you're here right now watching this. You didn't find this video by accident. The universe delivers the right frequency to the right people when they're ready. And whether you feel ready or not, it's here. And you were chosen to hear this before June 11th. So before we go deeper, before I reveal the secret this full moon is unlocking, take this moment seriously. Like this video so you anchor the energy. Subscribe because this journey isn't over, it's just beginning. And drop the number 77 in the comments, not just for the algorithm, but to claim this moment for yourself. To say to the universe, I hear you, I feel you, and I'm awake now. And if you know someone who's been going through it lately, send this to them. Because the moon doesn't just rise for you, it rises for your circle. Help them see it before it's too late. Now let's talk about why this full moon matters more than usual. Why this one has astrologers whispering. Why even skeptics are feeling it in their bodies. This isn't spiritual fluff. This isn't wishful thinking. It's real, it's energetic, and it's timed with pinpoint precision. See, Sagittarius is a fire sign, ruled by Jupiter, the planet of truth, wisdom, and expansion. When the full moon lands in Sagittarius, truth doesn't hide. It erupts, and it doesn't ask if you're ready. It burns through the lies you've outgrown and brings your soul's next chapter into focus, whether you're prepared or not. The reason this full moon hits so hard is because it doesn't show up empty-handed. It's bringing Saturn tension, reality checks. It's highlighting karmic patterns, emotional contracts, and spiritual fatigue. You might be wondering, why am I suddenly thinking about people I let go of years ago? Or why do I feel like something's ending even though nothing obvious is happening? That's because your spirit knows what your mind is just now catching up to. A cycle is reaching its peak, and not just a small one. One that has the power to either trap you in emotional repetition or set you free for good. This is the energy of decision. You either repeat or you rise. You either shrink or you expand. And here's the fun part. Sagittarius doesn't do small, so if this moon is hitting you, it's not trying to hurt you. It's trying to wake you up to something better, something aligned, something that makes you laugh again, breathe again, feel like you again. But here's what makes it even more urgent. This moon is only full for a short moment. After that, the portal closes. And the insights you could have gained, the shifts you could have claimed, they echo into the background until the next opportunity arrives, which, let me tell you, won't be as gentle. This is not the time to be passive. It's the time to participate, to activate, to face your reflection with courage and say, I'm not afraid of the truth anymore. I'm ready for the breakthrough. So like this video if you've already felt something stirring inside you. Subscribe if you're ready to stay connected to the deeper waves of cosmic wisdom. And comment 77 to seal it, to show the universe that you're listening, that you're in sync, that you're one of the few who gets it. Because what comes next in this video, it's not just information, it's the reveal, the pattern behind this moon's power, the alignment that astrologers rarely talk about, but the ones who understand it. They say this could flip your emotional timeline and expose the truth you've been avoiding. And once you see it, you can never unsee it. Stay with me, because everything is about to make sense. Chapter 1. What is a strawberry full moon, and why it's not about berries? The name sounds sweet, strawberry moon, but don't let the softness of the label mislead you. This isn't about fruit or romance or soft light. It's about revelation, about things you've planted, consciously or unconsciously, finally showing their true fruit, or revealing they were never going to grow in the first place. The term strawberry moon originally came from the Algonquin tribes. It marked the short, early summer season when wild strawberries ripened. It was a sign of timing, of readiness, not just about fruit, but about the importance of knowing when something has matured and when it hasn't. That's the root of the name. But spiritually, it goes much deeper. This full moon marks a kind of soul harvest, a season where truth ripens, and truth, unlike strawberries, is not always sweet. Because this isn't just any full moon. It's happening in Sagittarius, the sign of fire, expansion, higher meaning, and uncomfortable honesty. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, the planet of wisdom, but also of confrontation, the kind that burns down illusions in order to free you. That's why during this moon, everything you've outgrown starts to itch. Everything that no longer fits starts to suffocate. It's not subtle. It doesn't whisper. It erupts. You might feel like your emotions are shifting gears without warning. One moment clear, the next foggy. One moment calm, the next nostalgic. That's the pressure building under the surface. That's your internal system trying to recalibrate under a sky that's demanding realignment. Because the full moon itself is a climax. It's the peak of the lunar cycle, the moment everything hidden is exposed. It pulls on the tides, it pulls on your body, it pulls on your heart. And when that light shines through Sagittarius, it doesn't just illuminate your emotions, it forces you to look at your beliefs. What do you actually believe about where you're going, who you are, what matters? What lies have you made comfortable just so you don't have to start over? Think of it like this. Your life is a field, and everything you've been watering, consciously or not, is coming up through the soil now. Some of it's beautiful, but some of it's weeds. It's choking the roots of what you actually want to grow. And this moon is like a cosmic flashlight scanning the field. You can finally see what's real, what was planted in truth, and what was planted in fear. It doesn't always feel good. In fact, it's not supposed to. Growth is rarely gentle. Sometimes this moon will show you that the love you fought to keep alive isn't growing because it was never planted in fertile ground. Sometimes it'll show you that the career, the goal, the identity you've been clinging to no longer fits. And sometimes it will show you that the version of yourself you've been performing is the very thing blocking your freedom. That's what Sagittarius energy does. It strips, it pushes, it liberates, not by making you comfortable, but by daring you to outgrow what was never yours to hold. And here's the truth nobody likes to admit. Strawberry moons taste sweet, but they don't always feel sweet. Because truth, real soul-rattling truth, is sour before it's freeing. It stings before it softens. But it always sets you back into alignment. Always. So if you feel like something's ending right now, or unraveling or shifting beneath your feet, you're not broken. You're seeing clearly. And what comes after this moon will not be built on lies. It will be built on what remains after everything false falls away. And that is the only foundation worth building on. Chapter 2. Why you're feeling confused, exhausted, or hyper-energized. You're not imagining it. That fog in your head, that weight in your chest, the way your energy ricochets between exhaustion and sudden hyper-focus. The emotional seesaw you've been riding these past few days isn't a sign you're falling apart. It's a sign that something bigger is trying to break through you. And it's not random, it's written in the sky. Full moons are always intense. That's not just poetry, it's physics. The moon's gravitational pull influences the tides on Earth, and since your body is over 70% water, it influences you too. Your nervous system, your sleep cycle, your emotional threshold, they all shift with the moon's cycle. And during the full moon, the pressure builds to a climax. That's why so many people feel overwhelmed, restless, or emotionally raw around this time. But this moon isn't just full, it's full in Sagittarius. And that changes everything. Sagittarius is a fire sign. It doesn't just stir emotions, it stirs truth. And fire, by nature, doesn't comfort, it transforms. So if you're feeling like your emotions are either crashing or combusting, it's because your inner compass is being pulled toward expansion, whether you like it or not. You're being pushed toward a higher version of yourself, and that process can feel like standing in front of a mirror that doesn't lie. You might be asking, why do I feel so unstable right now? Why am I tired and wired at the same time? Why am I suddenly questioning things I was sure about just last week? The answer lies in what this moon is doing in the sky. It's squaring Saturn, and that's a big deal. Saturn is the planet of structure, karma, and responsibility. When any celestial body forms a square with Saturn, tension is inevitable. It's like being pulled in two directions, one hand tugging you toward freedom, the other chaining you to duty, fear, and old cycles. This is not just stress, this is soul stretching. Think of yourself as a bow being drawn back. The more resistance you feel, the more power you're generating for the release. That confusion, that's your old beliefs being tested. That exhaustion, that's the energy it takes to break patterns you've been repeating for years. And that burst of sudden motivation, that fire in your chest that comes out of nowhere, that's your future self trying to break through. It's not chaos, it's calibration. Still, many people will resist this. Why? Because growth doesn't always feel good at first, especially when it comes wrapped in tension, especially when the truth it brings contradicts the comfort they've built around a lie. But here's the question to ask yourself right now, not later, right now. Am I resisting this because it's wrong for me, or because it's asking me to stretch beyond who I've been? There's a difference between your intuition saying no and your fear screaming, I'm not ready. This moon will show you the difference. It will pull at your attachments, it will test your loyalties, and it will ask, do you want freedom or familiarity? If you've been feeling like something inside you is preparing to burst or break or evolve, you're not alone, and you're not off track. You're right on schedule. Now that you understand the energy behind this moon, the gravitational pull, the fire of Sagittarius, the pressure of Saturn, let's talk about how it's showing up in your actual life. Because this moon doesn't just work in the sky. It works through your body, your emotions, your memories, your relationships. The signs are already here. And if you've been paying attention, you've probably felt at least one of them, maybe even all of them. Let's break them down one by one so you can stop second-guessing yourself and start understanding what your soul is really trying to say. Sign number 1. You're suddenly remembering old wounds, old people, old conversations you thought were long gone. It hits you out of nowhere. 1 minute you're focused on the present, and the next, your mind takes you back to something that happened years ago. A relationship that ended. A betrayal you buried, a version of yourself you thought you'd never see again. And you start wondering, why now? Why am I thinking about this again? Haven't I already healed this? Here's the truth. It's not a relapse. It's not emotional regression. And it's definitely not random. It's emotional integration. This strawberry full moon is shining a light not just on where you are, but on where you've been. Because before you can rise into your next chapter, you have to collect the pieces of yourself you left behind, the parts you abandoned just to survive, the stories you shoved in drawers labeled later or too painful. Now, the drawer is wide open. Sagittarius is the sign of the seeker, of long journeys, inner wisdom, and soul truth. It rules the past, not to trap you in it, but to help you learn from it. Add Saturn into the mix, and things get karmic. Saturn doesn't play games. It's the planet of structure, maturity, and hard-earned lessons. And when this moon touches both, it's like a spiritual audit. You're not being haunted, you're being healed. Think of it like this. Your mind is a house. Over the years, you've shoved emotional boxes into the attic, memories you didn't have the energy to sort through at the time. This moon, it's dragging them back down the stairs, not to overwhelm you, but to finally unpack them. You don't need to relive the pain, but you do need to reclaim the power you left behind in those moments. You might feel like you're spiraling, like these memories mean you haven't moved on, but the opposite is true. You're remembering because you're strong enough now to process what you couldn't before. Your mind isn't stuck. It's sweeping out the debris so your truth has space to rise. You're clearing energetic room for your next evolution. And here's something else. Those people you're randomly thinking about. They might be feeling this too. Full moons connect us through memory, through emotion, through soul threads that don't just vanish. It doesn't mean they're meant to come back into your life. It means they're part of the lesson that's closing now. And you get to close it with wisdom instead of wounds. So if names are echoing in your head, if conversations from years ago suddenly resurface, if a version of you barely recognize starts pulling at your heart, don't panic. You're not going backward. You're retrieving your power. You're putting the past back in its place, not to forget it, but to finally understand it. You're not broken. You're not behind. You're integrating. And that's what healing actually looks like. Sign number 2. You're riding emotional waves that make no logical sense. 1 minute, you're grounded and focused. The next, you're irritated, restless, or on the verge of tears. Then suddenly, a spark of clarity lights up your chest like lightning, and you feel ready to reinvent your entire life in a single afternoon. Sound familiar? That's not just moodiness. That's lunar activation, and it's hitting your emotional system where it lives, the limbic brain. Full moons already trigger emotional intensity. But this isn't just any moon. It's a fire moon in Sagittarius, and fire doesn't flow gently. Fire bursts, ignites, transforms. This is a moon that doesn't just light up the night sky, it throws light on all the chaos you've been holding inside. And in Sagittarius, that fire comes with urgency. Act now. Change everything. Let it burn. It's expansion energy, but without a filter. So if you've been feeling like quitting everything or starting everything at once, you're not crazy. You're caught in the Sagittarius polarity. On one end, there's wild inspiration, breakthrough ideas, visions of a new path, and on the other, sudden frustration, feeling caged, wondering if everything you've built so far is even real. That's because Sagittarius energy wants freedom. And anything in your life that feels restrictive, whether it's a job, a relationship, a habit, or even a belief system, starts to feel unbearable under this moon. You might be asking, why does it all feel so intense? Why can't I calm down? Why do I feel like I need to change my whole life in the next 48 hours? That's the fire talking. It's not wrong. It's just loud. What it's trying to do is wake you up, shake the dust off your soul, show you what's not working anymore by making it impossible to ignore. The thing about fire moons is that they don't wait for permission. They bring flash insight, but they also bring emotional heat. So if you've had unexpected outbursts, anger, crying, a deep urge to run, don't judge yourself. You're not unstable. You're tuning in to a frequency of rapid release. Sagittarius wants truth, And when truth hits the system, it doesn't always feel gentle. It often feels like chaos. This is why the quote fits perfectly. The truth always feels like a breakdown before it becomes a breakthrough. What feels like falling apart is actually your nervous system adjusting to a higher frequency. Your body, your mind, your emotional memory, they're all recalibrating. And the tension you feel, that's your soul stretching. Think of it like an arrow being drawn back. It feels like pressure. It feels like you're being pulled in the wrong direction. But that tension, it's what creates the force for the release, for the trajectory, for the flight. No arrow can fly without first being pulled back. That's what this moon is doing, pulling you inward so you can finally aim with clarity. So if you've felt like your emotions are too much, like your energy is off the rails, don't suppress it, don't panic. Let it move, let it burn off the excess. What remains after the fire clears, that's your truth. And truth doesn't need to be controlled, it needs to be claimed. Sign number 3, you're questioning everything, your goals, your relationships, your choices, even your identity. Things that once felt solid now feel shaky. The path you were so sure of last week suddenly looks blurry, and a part of you is quietly wondering, am I making a mistake? Am I lost? Am I behind? But before you spiral, pause, breathe, because this isn't you falling apart. This is your higher self pulling rank and demanding answers to the questions you've been avoiding. Sagittarius moons do that. They're ruled by Jupiter, the planet of truth, expansion, and wisdom. And when this energy hits, it doesn't just want you to feel, it wants you to understand. That means this full moon is less about emotional breakdowns and more about intellectual awakenings. Sagittarius is the philosopher of the zodiac. It doesn't settle for shallow answers or polite lies. It wants truth, even when that truth is uncomfortable, especially when that truth threatens the version of your life you've been clinging to. So if you're suddenly doubting everything, good. That means the moon is doing its job. You're not broken, you're being recalibrated. And sometimes that recalibration looks like mental chaos, like losing your footing, like not recognizing yourself in the mirror. But that's what happens when the universe hands you a brighter light. You start to see what you've been tolerating in the dark. This moon didn't come to give you peace. It came to give you clarity. And clarity is louder than comfort. It doesn't whisper, it reveals. It peels back layers and says, look again. Is this what you actually want? Or is it what you thought you had to settle for? Is this love? Or is it convenience? Is this your purpose? Or is it just what made sense at the time? It's a little like waking up mid-dream. You realize that what felt real is just one version of the story. And now you get to ask yourself, is it still your story? You might feel uneasy, like the ground beneath you is shifting, because it is, but that's what expansion feels like. Sagittarius doesn't grow inside comfort zones. It grows in questions, in restlessness, in the quiet voice that says, there's more for me than this. And it doesn't always give you the answers right away. Sometimes it just strips away the certainty you were using to keep yourself safe so you can go find a better kind of truth. That discomfort you're feeling, that sudden doubt, it's not a step backward, it's a doorway, and you're standing right in front of it. Think of your life like a compass that's been slightly off. Every step you've taken might have looked right, but it wasn't pointing true north. Now, this moon realigns the needle, but before it shows you where to go, it has to show you what's not working, and that starts with the questions. So don't panic, don't numb it, don't push it away. Let yourself wonder, let yourself wrestle, because the truth you find on the other side, that's not doubt, that's direction. Sign number 4, you're being shown, sometimes gently, sometimes painfully, exactly what needs to end. And no, it's not just your imagination. This isn't you being overly emotional, impulsive, or dramatic. It's the illumination effect of the full moon doing what it's built to do. expose what's been hidden in plain sight. Because when the moon is full, it is fully lit. There are no shadows left to hide behind. What was once blurry becomes crystal clear, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. This is the moment where your intuition stops whispering and starts shouting, that relationship you've been trying to justify. Suddenly, it feels suffocating, that habit you've called just part of your routine. Now it feels like a prison, that commitment you made out of fear instead of alignment. It's cracking under the pressure, and you might be asking yourself, why is everything suddenly collapsing? Why is the timing so intense? Because the truth is, it's not collapsing, it's being cleared. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, the planet of expansion, growth, and higher awareness. And while expansion often sounds positive, it doesn't always feel like a reward. Sometimes the thing that expands is your clarity, your awareness that something you've tolerated for far too long is now standing in the way of your next chapter. You can feel it like a weight that no longer belongs to you. And this moon, it's lifting the veil so you can finally see what has to be released. Think of your life like a bookshelf. Over time, you've stacked stories, identities, relationships, and obligations on it. Some of those books were part of your growth, but others, they're just gathering dust. They've served their purpose. They're not wrong. They're just finished. And now, this full moon is standing over your shoulder like a divine editor, pointing at what no longer belongs in this current chapter. Not because it was bad, but because it's complete. You may feel resistance. That's normal. Endings are hard, but they're necessary. Nothing can grow where there's no space. And what this moon is really doing is making space. It's not chaos. It's not punishment. It's alignment. It's the sacred process of removing what you would never let go of on your own. Truth bomb. The universe isn't removing things to punish you. It's editing your life to match the next version of you. That's not cruel. That's divine precision. Because the version of you that's trying to emerge, the wiser one, the freer one, the one that actually lives with clarity, can't fit into the old mold. So if things are breaking down, ending, drifting away, don't chase them. Don't fight to keep what's no longer yours. Let it fall. Let it unravel. Let the full moon do its work. Because what's on the other side of this ending isn't emptiness. It's truth-shaped space. Space for the next level. Space for your becoming. Chapter 3. The real secret of this moon, and it's not what you think. Here's the truth no one is saying. The real power of this moon isn't out there in the sky. It's in you. It's not about what breaks. It's about what finally wakes up. The strawberry full moon isn't here to ruin your life. It's here to reveal what's been asleep inside you. The fire, the clarity, the next level version of you that's been buried under fear, distraction, and outdated roles you no longer fit into. This isn't a threat. It's a checkpoint, a mirror, a choice. Some people will spiral during this energy. They'll resist, hide, collapse. Others, they'll soar. They'll shed what's false and rise lighter, sharper, unstoppable. The difference: who chooses to participate? Who chooses to face the reflection and ask, what is this moon trying to awaken in me? You're here. That already tells me something. You're not afraid of truth. You're hungry for it. And that means this moon won't work against you. It'll work through you. So if you're feeling called, shaken, cracked open, it's because you are. You weren't built to break. You were built to awaken. And right now, the moon is calling your name. Don't ignore it. Answer it. So as we reach the end of this journey, remember, this strawberry full moon wasn't just a moment in the sky. It was a message, a mirror, a movement inside you. If something stirred in your soul while watching this, it means the energy reached you, and you were meant to rise with it. Don't let this clarity fade. Like this video to anchor the shift. Subscribe if you're ready for more truth like this. And comment 77 below to seal this energy into your timeline, to tell the universe I'm awake, I'm aligned, I'm ready. Your next chapter starts now.